Guys, I have the perfect answer for you guys and how you should be playing Snake Eyes right now. Oh my god, you guys, I'm genuinely super excited to bring you today's video just because I have a brand new, effective way to play Snake Eyes now. And you could play Pure, you could play Fire King. What if I told you there was a better version out there that can definitely get you guys going on a local level, regional level, shoot, even YCS level. And the best part is, this deck has unlimited potential. And the answer that I have for you guys is right in here. Guys, Snake Eyes is untapped potential with stuff coming out of Photon Hypernova in the form of Ashened. Guys, with the new TCG exclusive archetype in the name of Ashened, Snake Eyes have gotten a little bit more powerful and it's been undiscovered. There has been people who's been toying with it, but I genuinely think I have one of the best lists out there that can show you guys exactly what we mean. With the form of Hero of the Ashen City, King of the Ashen City, and Priestess of the Ashen City. These cards can interact and extend your plays further beyond what you guys are looking for. And obviously you guys already know what Snake Eyes can do. Snake Eyes can do the Ash combo into the Poplar, into end board of whatever it may be, to Appaloosa. But Ashened also provides you guys that inherent answer to stop even the Pure variant and the Fire King variant. Without further ado, let's jump on in to how powerful Snake Eyes Ashened can be. Alright guys, as you see here, we have the deck right in front of us. I'm ready to showcase you guys this, as well as a quick combo of what this deck can actually do. But first, let's just dive quickly into what this deck, what is within the deck. Now, I've been testing this deck a whole lot, and it's actually working out pretty well. I even brought it to the YCS Las Vegas 3v3, and I actually did fairly well with it. So let's just dive right into it. First, you're going to play the 2 Diabell Star of the Dark Witch. This is like very keen. I know Fire King plays 1 and Pure plays 3, but for this variant you possibly only just need the 2, which is really good. You know, a good extender, a good body, as well as a key part for the extra deck. Moving on, we also have one of the Flamberge Dragon. Flamberge Dragon is just necessary. I know you want to play roughly 2 just to play around Nibiru, but you could actually bump this deck up to 40 if you would like to play, or the 41 to play the second Flamberge. I just think there's so many more high level monsters in the deck that you can brick on it, so I cut this down to 1. Up next, we got the 3 Snake Eyes Ash, best starter in the deck. This card is fantastic. You guys already know. You guys have seen too many Snake Eyes deck profiles to not know what Ash does. Up next, to Poplar. Poplar could go ahead and extend you into those link plays that you need, as well as other things, bringing you those spells for yourself. Next, we have one Snake Eyes Oak. Oak is one of the key extenders, and this is actually one of the targets that I pretty much use to put into the back row now, to go ahead and extend further to, like, if I get Nibiru'd, bring this out. So it's actually pretty cool. You could do this or Flamberge, and this is why sometimes you might want to play the double Flamberge, but that's where like a lot of deck building choices come into play for your own portion. As for the Snake Eye spells, or the wanted spells, sinful spells, whatever you want to call it, the engine, 3 wanted, 1 of the temple, 1 of the original. These are the only 5 spells that you need to play. No further extending to play the subversions. I actually do side it, but that's something I'll get into later in a later video of, like, probably the best side deck cards of the format. But yeah, these are all mandatory. Moving on to the Ashen portion, we're only playing a small portion of it, playing 2 Hero, 1 King, as well as 1 Priestess. These cards are genuinely really good, especially when they act as extenders for you, which you probably just want to keep looking into, like how far you could go with this just because you opened up the field spell. And speaking of which, we also play only 2 of the Ashen City. This card's actually cool. It gives you the little extra draw power. It gives it to your opponent, actually placing over the Fire King Island, which would then proc off Fire King Island, which is pretty cool. Just because of another spell card that we have in the deck it called Awakening of Vidos. This card, what it does is that to quick play spell, what you can do is activate it to go ahead and place a field spell into your zone or your opponent's. So if you're going second and you put this into your opponent's, they let this resolve, you put this into your opponent's spell and trap zone or their field zone and places it over the Fire King Island, which then destroys everything that they have. Then if the field spell is put into your opponent's zone, you actually search Vidos, which is another key part of the combo line. And it's actually a pretty decent hand trap. 2800 body, very hard to get over too, for most decks, especially when you take over it. Because there is one more card that we do play, which is pretty much one of the most broken cards I ever think was ever printed for this archetype, is that this card has its own snatch steal by taking control of one of your opponent's monsters. But then you could also take, if you take a monster with 2800, or a monster that was previously belonged to you, or that you own that was in your opponent's possession, you actually can take it, and then your opponent will lose attack points based off that monster's attack. So you could actually dwindle down your opponent to breed less than 2800, or making all their monsters currently on the field lose 2800. But besides that, these are the only ones that you really need to play, especially if you're playing this variant of your. This was working out perfectly for me. You definitely want to see these. You don't mind seeing these. You don't mind seeing Hero. You don't mind seeing Priestess, but you just don't want to see King. This is the only one that is a brick, because you could actually find ways to get the field spell to special summon them out and do the same things. So it's actually pretty cool of how much synergy this deck has doing these combo lines. Up next, we're only opting to play 2 Bonfire. The deck does a lot of searching on its own that you don't really need to see the starter card as much, especially since you have ways to get to it. 2 cards that I was choosing to play is 2 Triple Tactics Talent and the 1 Call by the Grave. Talent you could actually put at 1 and play the 1-for-1 as well, but this is a very talent heavy form or hand trap format where talent is actually just very crucial. So even if they ash the Bonfire, if they know that this is your starting one, then you could actually talents and hope to get combo, or look at your opponent's hand if you already have combo. And then Call by is Call by. And then as for the hand traps, we're playing a lower count because the deck actually has a lot of interruption. We're playing 3 Ash Blossom Joy Spring, 3 Nibiru the Primal Being, as well as 3 Infinite Impermanence to round up the deck, being 40 exactly. Now moving on to the extra deck, it's pretty simple. We play the 1 Link Karibo. This card is actually more mandatory than any other card in the extra deck, in my opinion. This card is just nuts. So you got to play the 1 Link Karibo. You're playing the 1 SP as well as the 1 IP, or IP SP. These are the 2 that you definitely do want. This is part of the combo. This is also part of the combo. And it's just a lot of forms of interruption. SP is way too good. You're playing 2 Charmers, 1 in Dark the Gloomy and as well as Hida. You play 1 Nightmare Phoenix, as well as another fire target that you can link into. Especially when you're sitting on Princess, Bestower of Flames. I only chose to play 1. I'm starting to feel that 2, you could always play 2, but I personally don't ever see the second one ever coming up, which is completely fine, except when playing against Cash. But I haven't had hard matches with Cash at all, so it's actually pretty good. But you play the 1 Princess, and for the rest of your lines, you have your OTK line in Celine, Axis Code Talker, but with Nibiru being in the format, you actually could play these and also have room to play these 2 as well in Zelantis and the Raging Phoenix. Whatever one gets nibbed, you could actually just go into the other one right after, which is actually pretty crazy to me. So I think playing both is actually pretty cool if your deck has the space, as well as the Appaloosa and then the Ambler Whale for combo, or for one of the combos. And as you can just see, that's 13 cards. One of the key things that the last 2 cards that are really helping me out a lot is I'm actually playing 1 Underworld Goddess and 1 of the Typhon. Typhon doesn't rarely come up, but when it does, it actually plays into a really huge. And Snake Eyes just shoot out a bunch of bodies, which makes this card a lot more live and to clear out your opponent's monsters with these. Well guys, that is for the main deck, but I know you guys got a lot more questions on like how does this really work. So let's go ahead and shoot into the combo part so you could just see how good Ashened really is. I want to show you guys that you guys can do with just the Snake Eyes Ash and the Vidos, Awakening of Vidos, and let's just go ahead and get into it. So you just go ahead and start off doing your simple play of doing the Ash effect. We'll go ahead and add Poplar effect to go ahead and special summon itself, Poplar effect to search, any of the Snake Eyes cards. Genuinely, you would go ahead and link off this to go ahead and summon out the Link Rebo. Using the effect of Poplar, target itself, bring it back. Use the effect of Ash, send bow to special summon out Oak. Oak effect will go ahead and target one of these two to go ahead and special summon it. You go ahead and use Oak's effect, sending it and the Link Rebo as well to the graveyard to special summon out Flamberge Dragon. Then you link off these two to go ahead and make yourself the IP Masquerena, triggering the effect of your Flamberge that is now in the grave, picking any two Snake Eyes to go ahead and special summon them. Then you're just going to go ahead and do the simple play here, link off these two to go ahead and special summon out. To go ahead and special summon out your Princess, you have Bestower of Flames. Use the effect of Princess to go ahead and bring back that Flamberge Dragon. Use the effect, place the IP down here, link off the two to go ahead and special summon your Ambler Whale. And then here is where it gets fun, because now you have these two extra cards that you could do. You want to go ahead and use Awakening of Vados, and always do this play before, do Vados afterwards. So you could go ahead and search yourself out, give your opponent the Obsidian. Let's go ahead and put it over here for right now, to give your opponent the Obsidian City, which then now adds you the Awakening of Vados to your hand. You go to use Vados, special summon it to your opponent's side of the field by popping this. Use the effect of this when it's destroyed, or using the effect of Vados on the continuous effect, you're going to go ahead and set yourself, let's go ahead and put this up here, you're going to go ahead and set yourself the Vados trap card, setting that face down, which is your Snatch Steal, and how you're going to get this back. And particularly, then what you're going to go ahead and do is going to go ahead and use the effect of the Obsidian City to go ahead and special summon out King. King effect is going to go ahead and bring you out this effect with the effect, because your opponent controls Vados, you're going to go ahead and special summon out Hero. Hero effect's going to go ahead and pop anything that you would like. You could actually pop the Vados to go ahead and get rid of it, which is then going to activate Hero's effect, because he can pop any Pyro that has a quick play, and then you could actually go ahead and set one of the field spells in your own zone, which now turns all your opponent's monsters into Pyro as well, which now means he can now pop anything you want. So with that, you still have your typical Snake Eyes play, which you could go ahead and do on your opponent's turn to special summon back that IP. You now have material to go ahead and make anything that you really desire from here. What you can do here is actually do more of the IP play, which is actually pretty cool. Oh, by the way, on end phase, before you even get that, on end phase, you could actually use the effect of Obsidian to shuffle back an Obsidian in your graveyard to the bottom of the deck to draw yourself one additional card, which now means you now have a hand of 5 still playing into your opponent's turn. And this is now at the bottom. Now you can go ahead and use on your opponent's turn bring back the IP. You could go ahead and use this as an order from the pop. You could use the IV effect to go ahead and link off these two, or even the 3, which you could even do these 4 to go ahead and summon yourself out and Appaloosa Bow the Goddess for 3 materials. Actually, it would be in the center here. Then using the effect of Flamberge to go ahead and special summon out your Poplar as well as your Oak, which you can then use Oak's effect to go ahead and add yourself back the Snake Eyes Ash for follow-up, or if you're comfortable with that, you could actually go ahead and special summon out the Snake Eyes Ash. I recommend don't, just go ahead and hold it, because you still have Princess Bestower of Flames inside your graveyard that you want to use to go ahead and special summon itself to pop your monster. So you want that extra monster zone, which now you have all these cards to go ahead and do, and you're about to start your opponent's turn with 6 cards in hand and plus your draw for turn. this combo is actually pretty crazy, especially with the Eruption as well, because Eruption could actually get you many other types of interruptions. Even if you had Vitos in you drew the other Vitos to go ahead and do like pop your opponent's field spell, interrupt into where they want. Vanadium actually really hates when you do that, which is, in my opinion, pretty cool. You can actually pop the Fire King Island if they have to hard do the Fire King Island, because what Ashened for Eternity can do is when you activate it, you could actually add one Vitos monster or one Ashen monster from your graveyard to your hand. So you actually will be able to get out the Vitos and pop your opponent's field spells, because field spells are pretty prevalent. Give this to your opponent, and if they choose to get rid of this, you can nuke the board, which is crazy in my opinion, and I highly recommend that's something you should take into consideration, especially if you had the extra room too. What you can do is use the Ashen for Eternity, which is kind of blurry, but you can use the Ashen for Eternity to go ahead and steal your monster back. If they clear anything, then all your opponent's monsters lose 2,800. That is just one of the basic generic combos that this deck can do. Obviously, this deck also facilitates a playing into what you need versus into your opponent's board, especially with Vitos and the monsters being really big, which is one thing that Snake Eyes had a problem with, was not having enough bodies or high enough attack stats to go ahead and stop your opponent for whatever you need. Well, guys, that's all I got to show you guys for Snake Eyes Ashen. Give this deck a try. See what any tweaks that you guys would do, because by far this deck isn't perfected. And with more support coming out in the next set, possibly, we can easily see where this deck can go with the Snake Eyes, or even at a pure variant itself. I'm super excited for this Dark Soul type deck. And the best part about this deck with the Snake Eyes, and it's a burnt city, if y'all know, just burn it down. Put in the Seth Rollins thing here. Anyway, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed that deck profile, because it was super fun to take this deck and participate with it in the YCS Las Vegas 3v3 as well as locals itself. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Let me know what kind of decks you guys want to see and what your favorite engine is. Just give this video a like, and check out any recommended videos that has shown up to you, as we are excited to bring you guys more content in the future. This is June with the X2 family. I'll catch you guys on the next episode or video, whatever it may be. Get out of here.